This is Apostle Peter. Apostle Peter is the only apostle that Jesus said would be martyred to death. It's the only one Jesus said would be martyred to death. He never forecasted that for the rest of them. They were, except John. But it wasn't what he forecasted. So what does that tell you? That it wasn't dead martyrs that Jesus wanted. It was living ones. Which is why he said, if the world hates me, they are going to hate you if you follow me. He said you'd be persecuted. You'd be hated. But it was only Apostle Peter that he said would be martyred to death. This all comes down to where people's belief is. God wants the true belief. Not the, oh yeah, I believe in Jesus, I go to church on Sunday, and then the rest of the week I just do my own will kind of thing. No, because if you truly, truly believe, then you should, then there's a commitment there. It's a commitment to want to follow the will of God. But this world, what they want you to do is believe what Turning Point says about Jesus. And so it's all about you and what you want and the construct they have and the vision they have. And it's all about them. It's all about their selfishness and their pyromaniacs and their, oh, we're big and special kind of thing. The reason this is important to understand that there was a difference in belief here between most especially Peter and John. Well, because it exposes all the false church structures. It does. Look, it's very simple. The reason that Jesus loved John the most, and even when Peter asked Jesus, what is this special relationship you have with John? Because Jesus knew that John believed already before him being resurrected. There was a difference in belief here. Because if you remember, it's like there's never, no matter, just like this world, it needs constant more evidence. It will always find some way to refute God, and because man thinks it knows best and it doesn't, that just shows how ignorant man is. But John, on the other hand, John fully believed before Jesus resurrected. And that's absolutely evident because when he stayed at the cross, and he was even at the trial, and he didn't deny him, but when he stayed at the cross, he was giving himself away. The authorities could have easily arrested him and known, wait a minute, this isn't a relative of Jesus's, this is a follower if he's here. That's why the others didn't show up. But John, no, that's why Jesus loved him, which is why when Peter asked about their relationship, Jesus replied, if I want him to remain until I come, what is that to you? You follow me. What else is interesting here is that long before Jesus' arrest, Jesus told Peter, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church. That's the Roman Catholic Church's claim to fame there. But that was well before this, and Peter went on to deny Jesus 3 times before the rooster crowed. Again, there's a difference in belief here. Obviously, after Jesus came back and resurrected, they all believed. John was the only one that had already fully believed. This world has done a fantastic job, Satan is good at deception, of making people believe that, if you go to church on Sunday, you're a Christian. You had water dunked on your head, you speak at Turning Point event, they're all Christian. Yeah. the the kind of Christianity Satan wants. The kind of Christianity that all the apostles except John were prior to Jesus resurrecting, which is, we'll follow you, but once it gets to be too much, no. We'll follow you, but the rest, the majority of my life will have to be about what I want to do. I mean, Jesus came to restore unity back, mankind, with the Spirit of God here. And yet, of course, mankind has kept the curse going, as I've said, because they want their hierarchy and their structure, and because they want to live in the world that mankind created. Most mankind doesn't want to live in God's kingdom prior to the sin. And people can make the arguments all they want that, well, Adam was created first. Okay, yeah, but there's not any evidence there that there was any one over the other, okay? Was God about man and woman because of procreate? Yes, okay? Yeah, okay? But the fact is that it wasn't one over the other. So to run on the fact that because God created man first, it somehow meant he was over. No, it wasn't until after the sin that God said that would happen. And still to this day, there are men, Charlie Kirk being one of them, that thinks that is how the world should operate because they want to live in their kingdom, not God's kingdom. So they help keep the world in disaster, okay? Because of their, because it's about their will, not God's will. They are all the people that believe that Jesus came to bring you a book, when no, he came to return the Spirit of God in here, which meant that is the shepherd. And if you seek him, you will know him and he will lead you. That is always what the church was. But the false church, the one there in Rome, oh, well, they followed this. And again, I'm not saying anything against Peter, because all the apostles did go on to do God's will, but it was only Peter that Jesus said would be martyred to death. Sometimes wonder if that's because, well, I think it comes down to the belief level. There was also the, denying him. Again, because his belief wasn't there. I know the others weren't either, but the way that the world has spun the scriptures, I think is not accurate. It's not accurate in the sense that John is what should stand out the most to people. What should stand out the most with what I'm saying is that Jesus the only one he said that would be a martyred death is Peter. And so and I understand the other apostles were martyred to death. They were, okay? But that Jesus didn't say that it would be like that for all of them. See, I didn't know that. I thought he did, because that's what the churches tell you. But it's not true. It was only Peter. He said all of them would be persecuted. All of them would be hunted. All of them would be hated. But it was only Peter, he said, would be martyred to death. And then you have John, that's on the whole opposite side, because he believed. He believed fully, even without seeing the resurrected Jesus. Because again, he was giving himself away, staying at the cross. The authorities could have easily said, no, that's a follower. He wouldn't be here otherwise. And yet that's the one that they could not kill. They persecuted him, but they couldn't kill him. God wouldn't let them kill him. So what's the moral, the message of the story? Well, it's all about, where is your belief? Is your belief just that it's about what the church says and I follow what they say? In which case that's Peter. Or is it about what Jesus says and following the shepherd's voice, and the flock knows the shepherd's voice because it leads them? That's John. I say John is what you want.